Good evening, and I want to welcome everybody to the Monday, May 12th, 2025 meeting of the Rome City Commission meeting. We start every meeting off with a invocation and a pledge. Tonight, Commissioner Wayne Robinson is going to do that honor for us, and Commissioner Robinson, if you will, stand with us.
Everyone bow their head. Lord, thank you for bringing us all here safely tonight. Be with us as we make decisions that benefit our city and the people that live, work, and visit here. Lord, we all may not always agree on every issue, but we rely on you for your guidance to always make the decision that honors you. Lord, also thank you for yesterday and the opportunity to pay tribute to our mothers that are still with us and to honor those that have loved us. They are the backbone that molds us into the people that we are today. Thank you for all the blessings that you share with us, even though we don't deserve many of them. I ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Robinson. Mr. Clerk, if you will, call the roll.
Mayor McDaniel.
Here.
Commissioner Bojo.
Here.
Brock. Here. Cochran.
Here.
Dawes.
Here.
Quick.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Thank you. You've received the minutes of the April 28th, 2025 meeting. We will approve those by common consent. We have two proclamations tonight. One is Salvation Army Week. I'm going to call on former Mayor Jamie Doss to read that proclamation. We have some very special guests with us.
Kelly.
Before I get started, Kelly and Meredith and myself serve on the Salvation Army Advisory Board. And I'll read the proclamation, but the Salvation Army is a tremendous asset to Rome and Floyd County. Whereas since its founding in Great Britain in 1865, the Salvation Army has provided humanitarian relief and spiritual guidance, and that's pretty important, the spiritual guidance, to people throughout the world. Whereas its members continue their compassionate tradition of helping wherever there is hunger, disease, destitution, and spiritual need, and whereas their victories result in shelter for the homeless, food for the hungry, and self-sufficiency for the disabled, whereas perhaps the best-known services they provide involve meeting the needs of the homeless, which is a problem here, and also offer assistance to countless other individuals seeking help, whereas those addicted to drugs or alcohol find a vast network of rehabilitation programs, children born into poverty discover camps and educational opportunities, whereas the City of Rome and Floyd County, this is a joint proclamation, commend the Salvation Armies. I have with this Major Hank and Eunice Harwell. They've been here almost long enough to call themselves Romans. Soldiers and those who support its mission for their continued dedication to helping meet the physical and spiritual needs of people across the nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Rome City Commission and the Floyd County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 12th through May 18th, 2025 as National Salvation Army Week. You can clap now.
Yeah.
I'll take it back to the county, that's okay.
I presume so. Just wanted to let everyone know that tomorrow we're going to be celebrating all of our volunteers and supporters at our annual Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon. And we have a few more statistics that we'll share, but just to highlight a couple of things that just in the last year, we served over 15,000 meals, dinners, that we do every night, 365 days a year. We don't take a day off. If someone's hungry, they can come by our kitchen, our dining room, and get something to eat every day. We've also were able to provide over 3,000 nights of lodging for the homeless, as we've already mentioned. Again, there's more success stories to be shared tomorrow at our annual appreciation luncheon, but I thought I'd at least highlight those two items for you today. And again, thank you for all of the support from the city, as well as from all the residents and people of not just Rome, but also Floyd County as well. Thank you.
Our next proclamation is to recognize Law Enforcement Memorial Week, and Commissioner Harry Brock will read that proclamation. And we have Floyd County Commissioner David Thornton, and two of Rome's finest, the very best. Go ahead, Commissioner Brock. Thank you.
All right. Whereas from the beginning of this nation, law enforcement officers have played an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms which are guaranteed by the Constitution and protecting the lives and property of our citizens. And whereas these individuals, known as law enforcement officers, are the guardians of life and property, defenders of the innocent warriors in the battle against crime, and are dedicated to the preservation of life and property. And whereas it is important that our people know and understand the problems, duties, responsibilities of their police departments and the necessity for cooperating with them in maintaining law and order. Whereas we pay tribute to all fallen officers, and specifically honoring those who recently lost their lives while serving their communities, as we gather as law enforcement officers, survivors, and citizens to remember and honor the sacrifices made by officers in the line of duty. Whereas it is fitting and proper that we express our gratitude for the dedicated service and courageous deeds of law enforcement officers and for the contributions they have made to the security and well-being of all our people. And whereas we desire to honor the service, valor, and dedication of these law enforcement officers. Now therefore be it resolved that in conjunction with Law Enforcement Memorial Week, May 11th through 17th, 2025, the Rome City Commission and the Floyd County Board of Commissioners do hereby designate Thursday, May 15th, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of duty. And I feel certain David probably wants to say something.
3 minutes.
I've learned that well. It is a great honor. I do serve as the president of the Fellowship of Christian Peace Officers likewise, and it will be this Friday at the Law Enforcement Memorial. We are recognizing another fallen officer, Jeff Smith, Berry College police officer, sergeant. His family is at the National Memorial, and I believe his sister's going to be there, so we'll have the monuments ordered, but we're going to go ahead and recognize him. And that is the 21st person that's in the line of duty. His was from COVID back in 21, and it is a great honor to always serve in our community. And just before I came here, we had lost one of our officers to natural causes that I went by and visited with the family, so I ask you to remember that family in prayer likewise. And it's an honor to serve, and thank you for the proclamation, and God bless.
We have a number of guests here tonight that are part of our Bridge Academy. I'm going to turn this over to our city manager, Sammy Rich.
Thank you, Mayor. And it is a privilege for us tonight to get to recognize the Bridge Academy graduates class of 2025. And before we call these members up to the front here, I would ask Kelly if she is available to go to the podium. And our very own Kelly has spent some time helping coordinate the Bridge program. And so, Kelly, tell us and remind us all the good things it is to be a member of Bridge.
Oh, I would love to. Thank y'all for letting us be here tonight. And I'm so proud looking around the room at all the little babies and the birds that are ready to leave the nest. I'm so proud. I think this is better than my daughter graduating from college. I can get a little choked up. But thank you guys so much for allowing us to present our new class. This is our 4th class. I can't believe we've done this 4 years now. We have graduated approximately 60 graduates from this program over the last 4 years. And for those of y'all who may not know, Bridge is an acronym. Can anybody in here tell me what Bridge stands for? Bridge class, building. I didn't say this was our smartest group. I just said
You
it's
knew
our
there'd be a test eventually.
Bridge stands for Building a Responsive, Inclusive, and Diverse Group of Employees. And that's exactly what we do. We have a great group. We have every age, every veteran year here at the city. We have new folks. We've got people that have been here for a while. We've got every department, every division represented. And the goals, if you don't know why we started this program came out of our Employee Engagement Committee, and I'd like to recognize Ms. Christy Shepard, who is here from the Human Resources Department, from which our Employee Engagement Committee is based out of. And this was an idea that came out of that committee, and Sarah put together a program 4 years ago, and our committee actually was in the pilot program. See how this went and what we needed to change and how we can make this a better program. And so over the last 4 years, we have changed it and we have brought improvements, we think, to the program. And our goals were the following. It was a comprehensive view of what the city does, the ways in which each department contributes, and how the departments work together. So do y'all think we did that in our classes pretty much? Okay.
Looks unanimous.
It's unanimous. It's a chance to meet, network, and collaborate with individuals outside their department in normal working relationships. And after graduation the other day, they were asked by Sammy what was the one thing, their favorite part or their biggest takeaway. And I think it was about 75%, maybe 80% said that the collaboration, the new friendships, and the being able to work together with people that they knew existed but never knew they had actually a face that goes with a name. So that was, I think, one of the biggest takeaways. Another goal is to strengthen relationships between the departments, especially those that don't work together on a regular basis. And most importantly, is to foster the core values of communication, inclusion, and teamwork. And I think we really worked hard on teamwork, don't y'all? See, they're agreeing with me now because they screwed up the bridge part, didn't they? And they want to promote our values, and those are the values of this city. Exceptional service, to act with integrity, and to treat others with respect. And I think we pretty much got 100% on all those things this year. So just to let you know, we had 8 meetings over the last week. It's the school year. We started in August and we ended in April. We had orientation, administration, public safety, live, work, and play, water and sewer, public works, economic development, tennis and tourism, TRED, KRFB, Eco Center, and we had a graduation ceremony last week, and it was wonderful. So thank you again. We will be taking applications coming up in the next couple months. We'll send that out through email. And as always, you can apply yourself. You can be recommended by someone else. It doesn't have to be a supervisor. It can be a supervisor, or it can just be somebody in your office or a friend in another department. And we really encourage you to reach out and encourage people to sign up and to join the program. It is a great program. And I would not want to, I see one of my cohorts on the end, Jackson, if you would please stand and let us recognize. Jackson is one, did Sarah come? Sarah's not here. Jackson, Sarah, Molly Majestic, and myself are coordinators of the program. So we are the ones that try to teach a little bit of knowledge and have a little bit of fun. So thank you guys again tonight, and congratulations to our 4th class. I'm so proud of y'all. Thank you for letting me work with you this year.
Thank you, Kelly. Great job. So if we could, I would like to invite the graduates that are with us tonight, if you, when I call your name, if you would come up to the front, perhaps we could talk Doug into a group photo, and then I'm going to ask the commission if they'll come around and shake y'all's hand and tell you a good job. So first is Miss Tabitha Blair out of the City Manager's Office, Miss April Helton out of Human Resources, Miss Michelle Kite out of Planning and Zoning, Miss Lynn Maloney from Transit, Miss Angela Mathis from Procurement, and Miss Carol Scott out of Finance, I believe, is everyone who is with us. And if I've miscalling your name, please come on up. We will get our photographer in on the action, and then if we can go shake their hands.
Come center it up, if you would. That's close enough. Okay, everybody's smiling and happy. Graduate, got your sheepskins and everything. We'll do one more. Heck, let's do one more. Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Christy, you have to stay for the whole meeting, I'm sorry.
We won't hold it against you if you decide it's time to go. Getting's good.
Great group. Thank you, Kelly. We have no resolutions. We have a number of items on first reading. Rice or Commissioner Quick?
First item is going to be a street closing ordinance from Oakdean. Second item is a street, item B, I guess. A25-05-05, a request to annex the properties 115 and 117 East Boundary Street, Rome, Georgia 30161, zone for suburban residential, no charge in use or zoning, Floyd County Tax Parcel J140314, comes with a unanimous recommendation by the Planning Commission. Then there is A25-05-05 East Boundary Street, SUP 25-05-04, a request for a special permit for a duplex in a high-density traditional residential for the property at 35 Hurd Street in Rome, 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel J130262A, also comes with a unanimous recommendation for approval by the Planning Commission. Then we have Z25-05-01. It is a request to rezone from light industrial to community commercial property for the property at 196 North Avenue, Rome, Georgia 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel J13W250A. Also a unanimous recommendation for approval by the Planning Commission. North Avenue, Z25-05-06, a request to rezone from duplex residential for high-density traditional residential for the property at Nixon Avenue, Rome, Georgia 30161, Floyd County Tax Parcel I-14029, also a unanimous recommendation from the Planning Commission for approval. Then, all of those will be on first reading. In second reading, we have a hazardous materials ordinance. And Mr. Manager, if we could get that pulled up. Whereas the Rome City Commission wishes to amend Chapter 9, Article 4, Section 915 of the Code of the City of Rome, Georgia, relating to the hazardous materials response cost recovery in the city. And we also are going to make an amendment on this right here to make sure that it doesn't jeopardize the rights of individual homeowners. Whereas the Floyd County Commission has adopted the hazardous materials response cost recovery, and whereas the ordinance is adopted to address the interest of public health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of the city. Now, therefore, the Rome City Commission hereby adopts this ordinance as follows. Rome City Commission and its ordained authority of the same, Chapter 9, Article 4, Section 9105 of the Code of the City of Rome, Georgia, is hereby amended to add Section 90-105 as follows. Hazardous materials response cost recovery. Purpose in this section is to establish uniform criteria for recovering costs associated with emergency response of the Rome Floyd Fire Department to hazardous materials incidents. Once again, not putting any onus on individual homes or any additional response there. Am I saying that right, Mr. Attorney? Okay. Definitions for the purpose of this section, words and phrases shall have the meaning below. Extra hazardous materials incident means hazardous materials response that requires more apparatus, personnel, equipment, and or supplies that were dispatched upon the initial response and which extends for a period of less than 3 hours in duration. Hazardous materials incident means a release or spill of any materials considered to be dangerous to the public or the environment as defined by the EPA, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and the Georgia Fire Prevention Code. The City of Rome recognizes the need for emergency hazardous materials response within the jurisdictional limits of Rome, Georgia. Therefore, no person or agency requiring an emergency hazardous materials response shall be denied those services due to lack of insurance coverage or the inability to pay for those services. Rome Fire Department provides emergency hazardous materials response only and does not act as a cleanup contractor and does not provide cleanup or disposal services. Any applicable services rendered to a person, entity, or agency shall be billed to that person, entity, or agency. Fire in chief, his sole discretion, may waive reimbursement in instances where minimal response services were required. Other emergency response services agencies assisting the Rome Fire Department may submit their list of expenses to the Rome Fire Department for inclusion in this bill to be the responsible person, entity, or agency. Neither the City of Rome nor its fire department shall accept any liability for payment of such cost incurred by other emergency response agencies. The procedure is a detailed listing of hazardous material response services to persons, entities, and other agencies will be compiled by the Rome Floyd Fire Department. This information shall be forwarded to the Rome City Finance Department, which shall be responsible for the billing. This information shall include pertinent information. The description of services rendered will be the itemized list of cost. And then basically, This,
Instead of, I don't know that we're going to have to read all of that. I think as we discussed downstairs, we're going to approve that with a,
subject to attorney review, yes.
That's your motion.
And that comes as a motion from,
Second.
come as a motion with that clause. Perfect. Need a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nothing continued on first reading. No public hearing. Mr. Clerk,
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We will make an announcement that our City of Rome administrative offices will be closed on Monday, May 26th in observance of a Memorial Day holiday. For garbage routes, Monday will be serviced on Tuesday. Tuesday's garbage, yard waste, and recycling will get pushed and serviced to Wednesday. Thursday, Friday will be serviced as normal. And additionally, and lastly, the Walker Mountain landfill will also be closed on Monday, May 26th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. No report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Under my time, the Rome Floyd Development Authority will meet on Tuesday, May 20th at 9 a.m. at 800 Broad Street. While we were in caucus, we went into executive session to discuss a real estate matter. Commissioner Robinson made the motion to go into executive session, seconded by Commissioner Bojo. No actions were taken while we're in executive session. Commissioner Randy Quick made the motion to come out, seconded by Commissioner Jamie Doss. Commissioner Bojo.
I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Brock.
As mentioned before, the 2025 Peace Officers Memorial Service will be held Friday, May 16th at 11 at the Law Enforcement Complex. Public Safety Committee will meet on Tuesday, May 20th at 2 o'clock in the Sam King Room. And under Transportation Policy Committee, they will meet Wednesday, May 21st at 10 o'clock in the Carnegie Training Room. That completes my report.
Commissioner Cochran.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Beeman is not with us. She is on Rome Housing Authority business, recognizing a student down at Jekyll Island. I offered to go for her. She didn't want that. Library, I'm going to make her report. The library board will meet on Thursday, May 15th at 4 p.m. at the Rome Floyd County Library. Commissioner Doss.
Thank you, Mayor. On committees, I'd like to place on first reading Corey Townsend to the Northwest Georgia Housing Authority, and also place on first reading Colin Doss on the Parks and Recreation Authority. And that's all I have from Committee on Committees. Would like to report on the International Committee. At caucus, we received a report from Meredith Ulmer, our Assistant City Manager, about some rates and dates for our sister city trip to Kumamoto, Japan. We have a number of commissioners that are planning to go. She has shopped around and found some very reasonable flights and also very reasonable hotel cost. And I think any money we put into something like this, we need to make sure it's a good investment. And I feel like it is a good investment. It's the 30th anniversary of our sister city relationship, and Kumamoto is planning a trip to Rome next year. And that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Doss. Commissioner Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item is from the Solid Waste Commission, and we reviewed a couple of recycling deficit. One was recycling deficit, and one was Solid Waste Commission deficit for January through March of '25. And we will need to approach both of these items individually to bring forward. On the first Solid Waste Commission billing for the first quarter of 2025 Recycling Center, the amount due on the deficit is $63,679.74. And that will need to be approved by the full commission. And that comes in the form of a motion.
And that is just for a quarter?
That is a quarter.
So annualized, that's 240 grand? Is that right? Roughly?
Yeah. And of course, and Commissioner, I would recommend, y'all can approve these together. There's two elements for us. One is the City of Rome portion, the second is the Solid Waste Commission. The third is also the Floyd County Commission that is paid out of their unincorporated Solid Waste Commission fund. But there are two of these pieces. That's what's before you tonight.
These figures are the balance of what?
Well, it's right. The reason the number's a little higher than normal, as we mentioned in a caucus, is because there was an accounting error in the lease payments for the recycling facility out on Lavender Drive. And so, we've been hovering $20,000 to $30,000 range, and so that's why it's up now to almost $64,000.
We have a motion and a second.
Well, we'll go ahead and do the second, and then we'll do everything on one motion. And the second is the Solid Waste Commission, January through March 2025, which is also $63,679.74. And that comes in the form of a motion from Solid Waste Commission.
A motion and a second.
Second.
It's a very weak second.
Duly noted.
I'd have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if this is the place to discuss this or not, but I would like for us to seriously look into and consider an exit strategy of recycling, of what it might could do. I think Chris Jenkins gave us a report one time of the cost versus whatever, and outside of the feel-good, it's really not a good venture for the city to be on a pickup, in my opinion, pickup of recycling, and instead of having a central recycling center that people can actually take it to if they so desire. But I don't know how we would do that, if we need to internally have a study done by Chris or whoever.
Well, as we talked about this a little bit recently at Solid Waste Committee, the plan is for us to take a deep dive at the Solid Waste Commission. And I think I like what I heard the mayor say earlier is perhaps following that, we can get a presentation back downstairs before the full commission at a caucus session to figure out what we've learned, and then bring that to you all to get a better sense of the numbers. And Chris has done a good bit of analysis, and he's got a pretty good command on what's what we're talking about is what is the true cost of recycling. And that, at the end of the day, that's really what we're talking about from a business perspective. Are we making the best decisions, and is it economically the right thing to do?
Well, at one point in time, probably about 8 or 10 years ago, when the city was enthused about, and a lot of other cities was enthused about, Commissioner, we had such items as cardboard was paying good money, and glass was paying a little bit of money, and all of those entities was part of our replica. And so we made the investment, and because the citizens was trying to get everybody to recycle to save the landfill. But I think cardboard, the monies went away because I don't think take it anymore, do we, Sammy?
We do. It's just the market has been in a state of flux for a few years, and it's a difficult business to be in. And I think if it were a more lucrative business, you'd have a lot of private companies in the business.
And it never has made any money. And so when Chris gave us the report the other day, it seems like it's getting bleaker and bleaker. And we tried to give it to the county and they would have no parts of it. So I think we got a, 2 more year commitment with the center out there, Sammy?
That sounds right, what we heard recently.
So the exit plan that you made mention of probably is coming at a good time.
So I might just add that I'm not sure we should just pull the plug. I think this is a decision that requires some pretty deep thinking because we set the example for our community, and what we have to weigh is the cost of recycling versus the right thing to do. And this might even be, I'd certainly take it up at solid waste, but it may be a retreat discussion.
I was involved in a conversation at one of our GMA meetings, and a community, and I can't remember the community, but they had moved away from pickup and they were just doing drop-offs. They had recycling drop-off areas, and if you wanted to recycle, then you could take your cardboard, newspapers, and aluminum cans to a drop-off point. And I think they had gone with a private company to do the pickup. And that may be something that we wanted to look at.
Yep, that's certainly one of the models that we talked about recently. There's a lot of folks doing different things out there around the state.
I think if we studied it, I think we'd find that a much smaller percentage of the citizens of the city of Rome actually recycle than we think they do. I mean, I do. I mean, I just always have, but financially it doesn't make sense. I think we do need to look at it and do as you said, a deep dive, and let's make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense financially, look for an alternative. And hopefully, Sammy, you can get Chris and his people to give us that information.
Absolutely.
These are large numbers.
If there are no other questions or conversation, whatever, Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Sir. Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Halls?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
And the only other announcement I have, Mr. Mayor, is the Public Works Traffic Transit Trails Committee that was scheduled for May 14th has been canceled. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Collins?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Northwest Georgia Regional Commission will meet on May the 15th at 11 a.m. at the Civic Center. And Parks and Rec, no report, and all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Robinson?
Mr. Mayor, the only thing I have is the Alcohol Control Commission will meet Monday, May 19th at 5 o'clock, right here in this very room. Everyone's welcome. That's all I have.
Okay. If there's no other business coming before us tonight, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.